I want you to time travel a little bit to a Friday night in the late 80s.
Right.
You're heading to the video store, maybe the Butcher's. And
Right, yeah.
what movie soundtrack do you have on your Walkman? And what 3 tapes are you going to rent for the weekend?
So can we go early 90s here? We go into the early 90s to the video shop. Right, okay, cool. Because this was a hard one for the soundtrack, because there's so many good soundtracks for them. Because you've got things like The Lost Boys. That's unbelievable.
Well, you're wearing Fright Night t-shirt. Fright Night soundtrack's great.
Oh, mate, Shocker soundtrack, Desmond Childs, man. There's so many good soundtracks. But the one I'm going to go for is the much maligned Judgment Night.
Oh, yes.
That is a soundtrack and a half.
I've got Judgment Night over here on VHS.
Honestly, so for those that don't, I love the film. Not many people like. You might be the only other person I've ever known that actually likes the film.
Oh, wait here.
Oh yes, I've got that. You've got the video. I've got the DVD. I had it on video as well. But for those that don't know, Judgment Night soundtrack was basically all the big rock bands of the time. So it was like Pearl Jam, Helmet, Living Colour, Slayer, doing songs with rappers. So it was like, what was it? Ice-T and Slayer, and it was, I've got that right here. I don't know why I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Cypress Hill and Sonic Youth, Sir Mix-a-Lot and Mudhoney, Booyah Tribe and Faith No More. You know,
great
it was
stuff,
just,
man.
This was a mind-blowing soundtrack at the time. It just completely blew my mind. That was an amazing soundtrack. Yeah. So that's my soundtrack, would be Judgment Night, because I still listen to it now all the time.
Where'd you buy that from?
They just reissued the vinyl.
Nice.
A couple of years ago. It's on like orange vinyl or some shit. And I've been looking out for it for ages. I've got the CD,
Yeah.
But when vinyl started, that's one of the good things about vinyl being a thing again. Because I've always been a vinyl guy because I'm old as shit. So like, I fucking love buying records because that's what you used to do. You buy a record, as I said, you go to your friend's house, you listen to the record, you go, oh, this is a nice cover for this record. You'd look at them and learn notes and all that kind of stuff. So when it started to become a thing again, although they're a bit expensive now, I'd still much rather spend 30 quid on a record and have that whole nice experience of it, you know. Yeah.
So what tapes you going to rent?
Okay. Can I have an honourable mention first?
Yeah. Go wherever you want.
Monster Squad. Monster Squad's an honourable mention, first of all, because that is one of the films that got me really into horror as well when I was a kid. I get this is a weird, like,
where's that from?
That's like an Italian Blu-ray or something, because you couldn't get it wasn't out in the UK when I bought it. So like, Monster Squad got me really into monsters. It's what started my love for Creature of the Black Lagoon as well. And that's
how cool is it in that film? That just nailed it.
It's costume in that film for the creature is just, it blows my mind how much, because obviously like Universal had the copyright and all that to certain characters and stuff, but that just fucking blew my mind, that costume. So good. It is so good. Because how can you make the creature scary? Because the creature isn't that scary, really. You know, he's just like a weird gill man, but I love the image of him, but like he was scary as shit in that. It was so good. Wolfman's got nards, man. But anyway, right, okay. So I made some rules for myself when I was doing this, right? Okay. So first of all, it had to be a film that I owned.
Okay.
On DVD or Blu-ray, right? It couldn't be part of a franchise. So that ruled out things like The Thing, you know, because obviously they made a couple more. Ruled out Nightmare on Elm Street 3, ruled out all the Friday the 13th films. Right. And it also couldn't be a remake. So that ruled out The Blob and The Fly as well as The Thing. So The Thing was getting ruled out anyway, because I was like, that would be the top anytime, my top film. So, and there was also one per director. And anyway, right, I'm trying not to get too many crossover stars. So the first film I'm going to go for, The Last Dragon. Benny Gordo's The Last Dragon. Benny Gordy's The Last Dragon. Yeah, obviously it had the Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge in it.
I think that was my very first 7-inch single, Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge.
Oh, it's such a good film. Getting the Glow. You've got one of the best bad guys in 80s films with Show Enough. Who's the baddest? Show Enough. It's just, honestly, The Last Dragon. So I loved martial arts films when I was a kid. Everyone did, because you go down to the video shop and you'd have Bolo Young kicking someone's ass, or Chuck Norris or whatever. You know, you always had these amazing martial arts films. This is just amazing. Bruce Leroy. What a name for a character. But yeah, and it had all the kids learning martial arts and all that kind of stuff as well. It was just, and the whole thing with the glow and him catching the bullet in his teeth and stuff. It was just, it 80s as fuck as well. If anyone has not seen The Last Dragon, it is one of the most 80s films you can ever watch. And it is, like, even the scent with the bad guy with the piranha and his fish tank, you know. Anyway, probably going on about that too much. So second up. Okay, so.
You really thought about this. I love it.
I did. So the second up is my John Carpenter film. It was going to be Big Trouble in Little China, but instead I've chosen In the Mouth of Madness. This is an Asian copy. Do you read Sutter Kane? Because that is quite possibly, out with, you know, I don't know, it's my favourite John Carpenter film though.
Yeah.
Out with The Thing. Because it's everything. It's scary, it's got the intrigue, you're not really sure what's going on a lot of the time. It just has everything. And it showed Sam Neill in that kind of weird way that you would then see again in films like Event Horizon and stuff. Yeah. That was Sam Neill you hadn't really seen before. Was that, well, I hadn't really seen before. He might have been doing stuff before. So yeah, In the Mouth of Madness is just, I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan as well. I was big into reading H.P. Lovecraft at the time, so it was just like
I remember seeing it and just being weirded out by that film.
Yeah. It's one of those films where you watch it and you just feel like something's wrong after it, you know. And I like films like, it's like one of my favorite films these days is Martyrs, and that's very much in that kind of vein of like, you know, you feel at the end of the film you sit there for a few minutes going, all right, that happened, you know. But yeah, I probably put too much thought into these.
No, I love it, man. I love it.
And the last one,
I
think this is a special one, and I think hopefully you're going to lose your shit as much as I lose my shit. Salute to the Jugger.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my god! So it's Rutger Hauer and Joan Chen and Vincent D'Onofrio, and basically what it is, it's a post-apocalyptic world, right? And there's this weird sport where people have got to get it's like a goat skull onto a pike at the other end, and basically people beat the shit out of each other to get to this thing. So
what year was this?
Wait a minute, I need to find out. Shit.
I told you I'm like mainstream. So I love this stuff.
It was about 93, I think. It was about 93. It was like
weird time. Weird time.
Yeah, it was like, and Rutger Hauer was deep in the middle of making all these amazing straight-to-video films. I think it was about the same time as like Split Second, like I was mentioning earlier and stuff like that, which I love. Split Second, it's one of my favourites. And I'm going to get you a copy of this and send you it down because you've not seen it. But yeah, it's just one of these films that's like, it's almost like a mythical film where if people have seen it, they're all like, oh my God, that film's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's very few people that have seen it.
Yeah, me included.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I said, I used to get films like Gunmen out of the video shop, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's got Christopher Lambert and Barry Van Peebles, I'm on it. But yeah, it's Salute the Jugger. And basically what happens is there's like this league, and each of the villages has their own team, and this team are working the way up. They're like nomads, and they're working the way up to get to the main leagues. So it's almost, remember the computer game Speedball?
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit like that, but with like spikes and stuff like that as well. And they all wear like this crazy armor and shit. Brilliant.
Oh, you sold it to me. That's on the list. That's on the watch list.
You should, definitely. Salute the Jugger. If you've not seen it, check it out. This is a weird Asian copy because apparently none of the films I like are really easily available. So
I'll get in there 30 years too late. I'll watch it with 2023 eyes.
I know, right? And you'll be like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like watching Prayer of the Roller Boys now. You're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I remember loving this film. I love that film. You know what I mean? That was an amazing film back in the day. But you watch it now and you're like, why did I love this film as much as I love this film? Like, they were the coolest guys after The Lost Boys. Prayer of the Roller Boys was like, oh, now it's that. I want to get a pair of rollerblades. I want to go and do that. It's like watching Gleam in the Cube and wanting to buy a skateboard. You know, there were certain films that happened. It's like, although I never watched Electric Boogaloo and wanted to breakdance, that wasn't a thing, thankfully.